Royal guards are a fixture of tradition and honor, their unswerving discipline becoming synonymous with their uniforms and duties. Standing at attention for hours, with a piercing gaze fixed forward, they embody the ideals of loyalty and protection that have been handed down through centuries. Their role is ceremonial, of course, but it is no less important. They stand at the gates of palaces, the thresholds of history, watching over the royals they protect with an unwavering calm. But there are times when these stoic figures break character, when the walls they've built around themselves fall, and their true emotions emerge in moments of respect, heartbreak, and honor. These rare glimpses of vulnerability reveal the true depth of their devotion to their duty, their sovereigns, and the country they serve. The silent guardians. Royal guards are the living embodiment of duty, discipline, and respect. Throughout history, these men and women have stood sentinel over kings, queens, and noble families, symbolizing the unwavering protection that the monarchy represents. The royal guards at Buckingham Palace, for example, have been a fixture of British life for centuries. Their red uniforms, black bearskin hats, and impeccable posture are iconic worldwide. They are more than just ceremonial soldiers. They are symbols of national pride, of the continuity of a monarchy that has survived for centuries. Their training is rigorous, designed to ensure that they can endure long hours of stillness, attention to detail, and extreme conditions. A royal guard's role is not simply to stand still. It is to maintain a presence, to convey strength and authority, and to protect the royal family at all costs. The uniform itself is a symbol of this discipline, designed to project a sense of regal authority. The guards are required to stand completely still, their faces impassive, their bodies rigid with tension. They must remain unmoving in the face of distractions, whether it be the noise of tourists, the camera flashes of onlookers, or the constant barrage of questions from curious visitors. Their silence, too, is a mark of their dedication. A royal guard is rarely permitted to speak, except in the most extreme circumstances, like responding to an official command or offering a polite word of caution when necessary. Their role is to be seen, but not heard, a symbol of order and control in a world that often feels chaotic. They are the silent sentinels of history, standing as living monuments to centuries of royal heritage and unwavering duty. But while these guards are the picture of professionalism, they are also human beings. Behind their rigid postures and formal uniforms lies the heart of an individual who, at times, experiences the same emotional turmoil, grief, and respect that any person would. The moments when these guards break character, when they allow their emotions to shine through their stoic facades, are the ones that leave the deepest impressions. These rare glimpses into their humanity are some of the most poignant and memorable moments in history. The first break, the Queen's passing. The world is familiar with the royal family's history of duty, grace, and service. For decades, Queen Elizabeth II reigned over the United Kingdom, embodying the strength and stability that her position demanded. Her death in September 2022 marked the end of an era, and it was a moment that was felt deeply by her family, her nation, and the world. For the royal guards who had spent their careers serving her, it was a moment that struck at the very core of their being. The funeral procession for Queen Elizabeth II was a somber and emotional event. Thousands gathered in London and around the United Kingdom to pay their respects to the monarch who had reigned for over 70 years. The royal family, along with heads of state and dignitaries from around the world, came together to honor her legacy. For many, the funeral was a moment of national mourning, but for the royal guards, it was something more. They had spent years guarding the Queen, standing watch over her as symbols of her strength and dignity. Now, they were tasked with guarding her memory, with protecting the legacy she had built. As the Queen's coffin passed by, draped in the royal flag and surrounded by her family, one image in particular captured the hearts of millions. A royal guard, stationed along the procession route, stood at attention. His expression was solemn, his body rigid with discipline. But as the procession continued, a single tear escaped from his eye, rolling down his cheek and disappearing into the folds of his uniform. The image was a stark contrast to the stoic demeanor expected of a royal guard. It was a rare moment of vulnerability, a moment when duty and emotion collided. In that tear, the guard revealed something that was often hidden beneath the polished exterior of the uniform. It was a raw expression of grief, a quiet tribute to a monarch who had shaped the course of his life and the lives of countless others. The guard's tear was not just an expression of personal loss, but of the deep respect he held for the queen, for the monarchy, and for the country he had sworn to protect. It was a powerful reminder that even those who stand as symbols of strength and control are not immune to the emotional weight of loss. This moment, though fleeting, resonated deeply with those who witnessed it. It reminded the world that behind the royal guard's imposing exteriors lies a deep well of emotion, one that is often hidden but never truly absent. The tear was a symbol of the guard's humanity, of the bond he shared with the queen, and of the respect he felt for the monarchy that had shaped his life and his career. The unseen bonds. The relationship between royal guards and the monarchy they serve is not one that is often discussed. Guards are frequently seen as distant figures, standing on the periphery of the royal family's daily life. They are often positioned as silent protectors, observing from the sidelines as history unfolds. But while the monarchy and the guards may seem worlds apart, there is a bond that runs deep, one that is formed through years of service and dedication. For the royal guards, their duty is not just a job, it is a calling. They are entrusted with the protection of the monarchy, a task that carries with it a deep sense of responsibility. Over time, this responsibility becomes personal. Guards spend hours, days, and even years stationed outside the royal palaces, observing the royal family from a distance. They may not interact with them on a personal level, but they witness moments of history firsthand. They see the laughter, the triumphs, and the heartache. They witness the strength of the monarchy, but also its vulnerability. This unspoken bond is most apparent during times of national tragedy, when the world is reminded that even the most powerful institutions are not immune to grief. During the funeral of Princess Diana in 1997, for example, the royal guards stood watch as the world mourned the loss of a beloved figure. Diana was not a monarch, but her relationship with the royal family was a central part of their story. Her death was a moment of profound loss, and the royal guards, who had spent so many years protecting the monarchy, were deeply affected by it. As the funeral procession made its way through London, the royal guards who stood along the route were visibly moved. Their usual composure was replaced with a somber respect, as they stood with their heads bowed in tribute. This quiet act of mourning spoke volumes. It was not just an expression of respect for Diana, but for the monarchy as a whole. The guards had witnessed firsthand the toll that grief had taken on the royal family. They had seen the human side of the monarchy, the pain, the love, the vulnerability, and in that moment, they paid their respects not only to Diana but to the entire royal family. These moments of respect, though often subtle, speak to the deep connection between the guards and the monarchy. They are more than just soldiers standing at attention. They are the quiet witnesses to history, the ones who observe the personal side of the royal family, and the ones who protect them when the world is watching. A guard's farewell. In the spring of 2022, a royal guard stationed at Windsor Castle found himself tasked with standing watch during a memorial service for a fallen comrade. The guard, a seasoned veteran of many royal duties, had seen his share of emotional moments. He had stood through ceremonies, events, and national tragedies. But this was different. This was personal. The comrade he was honoring had been more than just a colleague. They had been a friend. As the service drew to a close and the last of the mourners began to leave, the guard did something unexpected. He stepped forward from his post and, with a respectful nod, lowered his head toward the memorial stone. It was a simple gesture, one that lasted only a few seconds, but it was a powerful moment. It was an acknowledgement of the bond that had existed between the two men, a bond forged in the shared experience of serving the monarchy. The other guards, who had been standing in formation with him, followed his lead. One by one, they lowered their heads in quiet tribute. There were no grand gestures, no speeches, no outward displays of emotion. Just the simple, respectful gesture of bowing their heads in honor of their fallen comrade. It was a deeply personal moment of respect, a moment when the guards allowed themselves to break free from their rigid roles and honor the life and service of someone they had worked alongside for so many years. This act of remembrance, though small in its scope, was deeply significant. It was a reminder that royal guards are not just symbols of strength and discipline. They are human beings with emotions, with friendships, and with deep respect for those who serve alongside them. In this moment, they showed that their duty to the monarchy was not just about protecting the royal family. It was about honoring the lives of those who had given their service, even in the most private of moments. The power of silence. The Royal Guard's silence is often seen as a symbol of their dedication to duty. They are expected to remain unmoving, unaffected by the world around them. But silence, in many ways, can be a powerful form of expression. In moments of grief, respect, and loss, silence speaks louder than words ever could. It is a language that transcends the boundaries of tradition, one that communicates feelings that words often fail to capture. In these moments of quiet reflection, the Royal Guards remind us that there is power in restraint. Their silence is not a sign of detachment, but of deep respect. When they bow their heads in tribute or allow a tear to fall from their eyes, they are communicating a message that is far more powerful than any spoken word. Their actions speak to the profound bond they share with the monarchy and with the country they protect. Conclusion. The Guard's true duty. The Royal Guards stand as symbols of strength, discipline, and respect. But in moments of loss, grief, and honor, they reveal the true depth of their duty. When they break character, when they allow their emotions to emerge, they show the world that they are more than just ceremonial soldiers. They are human beings, bound by a deep respect for the monarchy and the nation they serve. These moments, though fleeting, remind us that behind the uniform, there lies a heart that beats with the same emotions as anyone else. It is in these quiet, heartbreaking moments of vulnerability that the Royal Guards show their true character, and in doing so, they remind us of the power of respect, duty, and the unspoken bonds that tie us all together.